Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Money Means Business. Today we are going to celebrate together, or to continue to be accurate, celebrating the 25th of April, the return of full Sinai. But this time we're not going only to speak about Sinai as a dear part, a valuable part of Egypt, but about the reconstruction, the renovation, the development process, the comprehensive development process taking place in Sinai. In the past 10 years, Sinai witnessed a leap when it comes to its development process. We are all the time doing both tasks together, purifying Sinai from the terrorists. Terrorism has no place in our country, and on the other hand, we build, we construct, and this is exactly was the aim and still is the aim of Egypt. To achieve stability, security, and peace, and in the same time. Right after the short break, we are going to turn back with more, so stay tuned. Welcome back, and before we start, let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Saeed Kholy, former Dean of Faculty of Commerce, Ain Shams University. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I would say first, congratulations, as we are congratulating each other as Egyptians. When it comes to Sinai and when it comes to this dear part of Egypt, we all the time feel that proud of all the sacrifices which were made to regain every inch of Sinai. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations to all Egyptians, to all Arab and Muslim world for really gaining back our Sinai, which it was occupied before in 67 and liberated in the war of 70 October 73, and through peace negotiation during Sadat regime, and we received the last part during Mubarak regime.
42 years ago. And so, sir, we are going to dedicate this episode to speak about another battle which is not at all less important than the security battle, which is the battle of development, and we call it the development process. And we are going to speak in numbers, and I'm going to have your comment regarding these numbers in many fields. Egypt spent $750 billion on development projects in Sinai in the past 10 years. All the time, President Sisi is keen to say that the sky is the limit. And we do have all the time ambitions to turn any dream into reality. How do you see this number, sir?
For President Sisi, his vision, the sky is not the limit. He always dream for Egyptian people in order to enhance their quality of life, and in order to build sustainability in our Egyptian economy. In this program, we mentioned several times the safe haven for our economical development. I consider Sinai is one major part for attracting more and more and more local investment and foreign direct investment in order to build the industry based on the mineral fortune which you can find in Sinai. And when we talk about industry, we have the major component of any industry. It is labor force, which we have. Logistic now, we have built several tunnels going from the mainland to Sinai.
This was my start, sir, because I'm going, if you permit me, to speak about each field and in some details, or at least to speak about some facts which were realized already on the ground. About these tunnels were such a leap in our infrastructure, and to link Sinai to the Delta. Now Sinai is not that far, and we can say easily that anyone who is gonna go to Sinai or travel to Sinai, it's not going to be, oh, it's going to be hundreds of kilometers and I'm going to spend a whole night or a whole day. No, this is not the case right now. How do you see the keenness of the state to connect Sinai with the Delta?
That is the strategy, and that's Egypt Vision 2030 regarding Sinai. As I mentioned before, Sinai, it is really the fortune for Egyptian economy. So in order to really combine Sinai to the mainland, we build a lot of tunnel, bridges, and state-of-the-art roads now from in South Sinai and northern Sinai, in order to really attract foreign direct investment. And this foreign direct investment, I really want to focus in one major things.
Yeah.
If you recall, several times I mentioned in your program, all minerals, all raw materials, it is in Sinai. So instead of investing in any industry which we don't have our raw material, look for the black sand, for example, in Sharm, in Kafr Sheikh, for example. We have the raw material, we build industry based on the raw materials. And in Sinai, all different kind of materials, mountain of materials, never been used of time, which we should focus on that. You have the logistics, you have the location, and all you need is technology. So attract foreign direct investment with technology in order to really utilize and add value for the raw materials we have in Sinai. If we do that, I believe Egypt, it will be in a different spot when it comes to economical development. Remember when President Sisi took power 8 years ago, it wasn't that safety and security in Sinai, and we fought that very hard, and now Sinai is safe, secure to attract foreign direct investment.
It's clean.
Regardless.
It's back. And this is exactly what the president said more than once. 23 war, of course, it's a source of pride. But also our comprehensive operation in Sinai, which lasted for 5 years to uproot terrorism, is another source of pride. And he is all the time really saluting our security forces, whether from the army or the police, and the sacrifices they introduced for the sake, not only of us, by the way, it's to the whole world. We defeated terrorism on behalf of the whole world. If you permit me, sir, I'm going to start with agriculture. The agricultural area increased in Sinai about 500 acres in El Salam Canal and its surroundings, while the agricultural area that Egypt lost about after 2011 was restored through reclaiming new lands. Agriculture is food, and food security is a national security issue. How do you see focusing on that and to have the maximum benefit from every inch of our land?
Of course, we started to really doing a lot of agriculture project right after we really took over Sinai, and we have a control in Sinai. And the main source of agriculture in order is water. And with Salam, for example, river and so on, we start to see a lot of development, a lot of infrastructure when it comes to agriculture. But remember, also beside agriculture, it was an industry. They take it is not only fruit and vegetables, but they have industry based on this kind of agriculture product in order to add value and produce industry with agriculture at the same time. And remember, we mentioned that before also, the civil service in Sinai is not the same as before. Now we have education Sinai.
We are going to go to that
university.
Step by step, yeah. For example, regarding health, and because of health and education are all the time on top of the state's priority. Regarding health services, there is a very ambitious plan to complete the establishment of a Tor medical complex, for example, in a Tor center in South Sinai, complete the development and construction of hospitals in the governorate, develop Sharm el-Sheikh International Hospital, residential buildings for hospital workers, etc. Here, when any of us stuff like that, but now you are going to find that we're talking, for example, about a medical complex in Tor, about renovating mosques in Bir al-Abd, about having al-Hasana, al-Masa'id. I mean, every single inch. How do you see this comprehensive process?
That's part of is to build. When we talk about civil infrastructure, we mean schools, we mean healthcare, providing healthcare service. And that is not only in one part of, like in Sharm el-Sheikh and so on, but all different parts of Sinai now. They have public school, they have university and so on, and they have a healthcare service, which is, I consider it as it shows with the invasion of Israel now to Gaza. We saw a lot of medical service in our border in order to provide healthcare for our brother and sister and our children in Sinai, not to transfer them to Cairo or Alexandria and so on. They received a treatment in the hospital, which in the border of our neighbor in Gaza.
Mm-hmm. Water projects. I'm going also only to give some facts regarding water projects. The governorate or two governorates of Sinai, renewing drinking water network stations and extend drinking water delivery service to deprived areas, meaning now there is no remote place. We reach every single village, wherever, even if it is on our borders. How do you see this keenness?
Of course, that is to improve the quality of Sinai people. You have to provide them with all these services. Sinai people, it was ignored for several years. They don't have water, they don't have sewage system and so on. When you have this kind of things, which it really leads to improving the quality of living for Sinai people, and at the same time to be able to attract people to work in industry and agriculture from land or from any other governments to Sinai. So a lot of people immigrated from mainland to Sinai right now, and they're working, and they have a working opportunity. I remember the unemployment rate, it was very, very high in Sinai, but in the last few years, the unemployment rate, it is really reduced to the minimum
sir,
now.
Let me take you to some statements which were said in a very direct manner, in a very spontaneous manner. When President Sisi, of course, as usual, he was keen to attend Iftar al-Aila al-Masriya, or the Iftar of the Egyptian family in the holy month of Ramadan, and there were representatives from all sects, including the tribal leaders of Sinai. And the tribal leaders in general scattered all over Egypt, by the way. And they were really that keen to thank the president and to thank the state for efforts exerted to develop Sinai and to give them a quality of life. Because this is really to say how to increase or to boost the sense of loyalty of those people, to let them feel that they are not marginalized anymore and they are part and parcel of the society.
That is leadership. I believe when you want to define leadership, what President Sisi present a leadership values, to sit with the people, eat with them, and walk with them. And remember, he invited to several houses in Sinai, eat what they eat, and so on. That is a leadership. He is very close to the public, whether in Sinai or any other governance in Egypt. But remember, in Sinai, it was really ignored for several years during several regimes, and now it is the time really to invest and work hard in order to use Sinai, which is located in Asia, for example. Egypt is in African, and in Sinai is in Asia. So we have Afro-Asian connection also. And Sinai also close to the border of several countries in the region, and that is added value. And we have to really stress on that. We use our workforce in order to enhance the sustainability and the growth of Sinai in terms of agriculture, in terms of industry, and providing the logistic, the educational system, and healthcare system, so they don't have to travel from Sinai to other parts to get their education, to get their medical service, and so on. So civil service is very important, and we started that 8 years ago, and it's grown. If you see the curve, it is really going upward in Sinai in terms of providing Egyptian investment in Sinai.
Yeah.
And I really focus on industry because we have mineral industry, how to manage our resources. It is a very important
issue. But this cannot
issue.
be separated from education, sir.
Absolutely.
If you permit me. Simply, we do have King Salman bin Abdulaziz University in South Sinai. We are going also to mention many technical schools, and those
Absolutely.
are very important. Because if I want to have industrial zones in Sinai or in the Suez Canal very close to Sinai, who is going to work there? Who is going to be that much specialized in the areas or fields of industry which really distinguish these areas, except those who are graduated from schools suitable to fill the gaps in labor market there. And this is exactly what took place. How do you see, building Sinai based on scientific research? What I've said means that we build our development process based on science.
Absolutely.
It's not haphazardly.
Absolutely. When we talk about science, of course, before this Tor University, for example, we have Sinai University, it's a big university already in Sinai, and hosts thousands of Sinai people and so on, and from many other neighboring governments also. Of course, we're talking about technical college or technical university, provide state-of-the-art technology in order to integrate or attract foreign direct investment. When it comes to technology, we have to train people in how to use and how to utilize this kind of technology through the new technology. And remember, I believe a couple of years ago, President Sisi mentioned that. He said 2 years ago, it is a year for attracting foreign force industrial revolution to be implemented in Egypt. We have a smart city now. We have a smart factory now, which it employ state-of-the-art technology. But we need more and more, and focusing in our raw materials and build the industry based on our raw materials.
I'm going to quote North Sinai Governor Mohammed Abdel Fadil Shusha when he said that Rafah and the Sheikh Zayed long terrorist hotbeds are now beacons of stability and development, where citizens are provided with full array of services and 1 million fadans are cultivated with wheat and olive. And according to Shusha, the second stage of development will include spending 20 billion pounds to turn El Arish port and airport into an international logistics and trade hub.
Which is started already.
Yeah.
This is started already. That is part airport and so on. It's part of the logistic system. It is air logistic, sea logistic, and land logistic already exists in Sinai, which it wasn't like that before. We have only one way to go from the mainland to Sinai. Now we have several means of transportation. It goes from mainland to Sinai right now. I believe it goes like 2 bridges and 9 tunnels and so on. And that
and
is
an airport in El Arish.
Absolutely.
To turn El Arish into a logistics hub, I think if anyone came 10 years ago and saying that, we would say that he's hallucinating.
Absolutely.
Now it's a process going on the ground. It's not a dream.
And also, these things, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. When you develop a strategy, you go step by step in order to reach your goal and objective. And that's very important. But we have to be patient and patient and patient to have a complete picture for what we have in Sinai.
And also the state was very keen to get rid of all the slum areas. No more slum areas, no more unsafe areas. Now you are going to find thousands, or not thousands, tens of thousands of housing units ready to receive citizens not only from Sinai but from all over Egypt. This is also another point if you'd like to elaborate.
Civil service, it means when you have people immigrate from mainland to Sinai, you need to have a place to stay. And when we talk about tens of thousands of new development, new houses and so on, and new compound already exists in Sinai, and of course that's to host the labor force coming, or people going to work in Sinai in this factory or in this agriculture and so on, in all different level, of course.
Amen to that. Sir, we are going to return back to industry because it's one of the main component of the development of any economy, but I'm not going to miss speaking about tourism. When it comes to Sinai, people, or most people, will think only about Sharm el-Sheikh, about Taba, Nuweiba, Dahab, but El Arish is now very beautiful. What do we need more to attract more visitors, whether from inside or outside Egypt, by the way, to North Sinai, not South Sinai?
Of course, when we talk about tourism, it is not only sea tourism or beach tourism. Sinai really, it's a blessed from God.
Yeah.
When Moses spoke to God, he spoke to God from Sinai, which we have mountains, Moses mountain, for example. And that is, we can use that as a competitive advantage to attract tourism in terms of religious and so on to Sinai. I remember I was in a trip to the States years ago, and one of my students met me at that time, and he told me he was attending a convention in Florida regarding diving and so on. And they world ranked the first 5 rank from number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a spot in Sinai. Ras Muhammad considered to be number 1 diving place in the whole world. If we really focus on our competitive advantage, and we can market this competitive advantage not only in Egypt but all over the world, you will gain a lot and a lot from tourism by itself in Sinai. I'm not talking about Luxor, I'm not talking about Aswan, I'm talking about Sinai right now. We can attract millions of tourists who are interested in diving and beach activity and so on.
This is South Sinai, but also North Sinai. I'd like just people to focus a little bit on the beauty of the beaches of El Arish. They are more than beautiful, and I think it's time to return back to this wonderful part of our land. Sir, since you mentioned Moses, peace be upon him, of course, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli was very keen to visit and to inspect himself the process or the steps taken in the Grand Transfiguration project or مشروع التجلي الأعظم. The Grand Transfiguration is going to be one of the Egyptian gifts to humanity in general. And as you've kindly mentioned religious tourism can be such a source of our national income. How do you see this project in specific and how it can change the tourism map in Egypt?
Of course, it changed, but we need a very, very, very smart, intelligent marketing strategy for that. Remember, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, he is really very good in planning and so on and developing new area and so on. But we need a team in order to market ourselves not only in Egypt but all over the world. And that is what we need. We need a marketeer right now in industry, in agriculture, to market the competitive advantage of Egyptian, whether it's Sinai or many other places to the world. What we need right now, beside management, marketeer in order to market our tourism area, our project, our investment in industry and agriculture. That is very significant to take in the next coming months or years and so on.
Yeah. Returning back to industry and to investing in this field. Sinai is that close to the Suez Canal economic zone, and we do have already industrial zones there. What to do to attract more foreign direct investment into this area?
We have all the elements. We have the location, we have the labor force, we have the logistic right now. It is, I believe, Egypt now, they have a very good infrastructure and they did a lot of good job in terms of logistic industry. You cannot build industry and you don't have a logistic. You don't have means of transportation. We have all different means, whether it's land, whether it's sea, whether it's air, and so on. We have all of that, but what we need, and we have security and safety in our border and so on. But what we need is how to market all this component to the investor, foreign direct investor. The more we really market that, the more we'll get our more foreign direct investment.
In other words, sir, because, for example, when we hosted COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, it was such free propaganda for Sharm el-Sheikh and for Egypt and particularly for Sinai. We spoke about green hydrogen as the future. We spoke about turning Sharm el-Sheikh into a green city, and this was a leap on its own. And to turn Egypt into a hub for renewable energy and green hydrogen, I think it's going to start, or already started, from COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. How do you see our efforts exerted to attract investors in brand new fields like the renewable energy or green hydrogen?
Already during the COP27, we really made a lot of protocol with many European countries, in Belgium, for example, and many other countries, which already started in solar energy, in wind energy, in green hydrogen energy. So already we have a protocol, and it's really acted, and already their project here in Egypt. And the industrial zone in Suez Canal, for example, a lot of investment came, and they already in operation right now from China, from Russia, and so on. And with the really of exploration for oil and gas and so on, which are blessed lately, it's really made the foreign direct investment or the opportunity to come to Egypt as opportunity for them, and so on. But remember, when we talk about industry, the production cycle, it takes time. When we say we started 3 years ago, you are not going to see the result the next day or the next month or the next year. It takes some time in order to see the full benefit of this kind of industry. The more we attract, the more people will come, and the more and more and more, based on the basic pillars for attracting foreign direct investment: safety, security, number one; logistic, number two; raw materials, number three; and and we mentioned
And the golden license and no more
golden license
bureaucracy
and
and
working
having
forces,
direct
highly
talks
trained
with the
working forces,
state
and so
top
on.
executives. I
Absolutely.
mean, now it's very easy to find that whether even the head of a state, the prime minister, the ministers of our economic cycle speaking directly with investors to eliminate all the obstacles in front of them, whether they are foreigners or Egyptians. But
Absolutely.
here, I would like also to speak about the SMEs because, of course, the national mega projects are very important, but no economy can go forward or can develop without small, medium, even macro projects. Also, I'd like to speak or to listen from you, sir, about the importance of taking care of the SMEs, particularly in Sinai.
When we talk about foreign bank, we talk about mega project and mega
Yeah.
industry and so on. But remember, all the most developed countries, the States, the China, Japan, and so on, 80% it goes for SME, whether it's micro business, whether it's small business, and that's what I call it as a feeding industry. You cannot build an industry from A to Z.
Yeah.
In China, for example, they have thousands of suppliers provided and feeding one industry or one factory, and several hundred, several thousand provide feeding industry for this one company and so on. So feeding industry, it can be micro business, it can be small business, it can be intermediate business. And remember, during the President Sisi last year to industrial zone in Medina Nasser, for example, we saw a lot of successful and success story for a small business and intermediate business, which they produce here in Egypt and they export their material, their product, their finished product to most of the European nations. So we have the means and we have to really focus on that in the future. 80%, 80 to 90% from industry in the States, in Russia, in China, for example, it goes for SME. So we have to really invest in SME, in all different type of SME. And that is a concept
But in which
of
fields, sir?
feeding
I mean,
industry.
if we do have priorities, I mean, SMEs or projects in food, for example, food security, is it for exports? Is it textile? I mean, on which fields we should focus on? Or it depends on the innovation of ideas we have?
Creativity and innovation is very important.
Yeah.
Especially in small business, they are very, very innovative and so on. Remember, look for the source of whatever industry you have. You have the raw material. If you talk about textile industry, Egyptian cotton, it was to be #1 in the whole world. And the misuse of our main component, it's really the textile industry declined. But we have to focus on that. Remember, the Egyptian cotton, it's considered to be #1 for the whole world. But we didn't take it seriously what we produce. And here it comes the creativity and the innovation. What produced 40 years ago, we still produce it today. People change, so we have to change with the people, with their taste, with their image and so on. You have to create a creative and innovative strategy to help to update ourselves for the need for the customer. You are not producing for the sake of producing. You have to produce according to the customer needs, the customer aspirations, the customer dreams and so on, and build the industry on that. And I remember we visited university in Italy, for example, when it comes to textile industry, and to build a fashion school in our school, in our university. And really, when you making this joint venture project, and it add for styles and so on, for the fabric types and so on, but based on the raw materials we have. From the raw materials, you can develop several products matching the need, the local need and the international need. So marketeer, creativity and innovation, it's very important, and that is the reason for the delay for our textile industry to gain a competitive advantage.
But now I think the case is different, and if we return back to Sinai and to the thousands of fedans which were reclaimed, the silos can be such a project. Food packaging is such a project to benefit from the seas around us, and particularly in Sinai. So it's fisheries, it's packing the fish products and stuff like that. Only we need the innovative ideas and the hard work, and we can achieve miracles.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sir, I'd like also to speak about what we call the sideline diplomacy. Every time President Sisi travels to any place, to any country, of course he has some talks with his counterparts from the presidents or the leaders of the whole world, but all the time you're gonna see him meeting with business people, Chamber of Commerce there, speaking about the very big chances and potentials we have all over Egypt. And to speak about Sinai, can be another source of attraction. How do you see this sideline diplomacy? Because I'm going to speak about something which is going to take place tomorrow, inshallah.
President Sisi playing what I mentioned before. He is playing as a marketeer for Egypt. He's doing everything, and the people really should understand that. When the head of the states, the president, meet all these delegates, meet all these presidents, meet all these investors and so on, it gives them direction to which way we should go for the future. I believe the future, it's in our hand. I believe we have the leadership, we have the resources, and when you combine all of this together, and we have to work hard, not talk, but work. And when you talk more than you do, no development. But President Sisi, the doing is more talking and so on.
I'm speaking about this, sir, because on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa al-Madbouli arrived already in the Saudi capital Riyadh along with a large delegation, including even Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri, to participate in the World Economic Forum to take place in the Saudi capital. And there are more than 1,000 participants coming from all over the world in this event, as it acts as a platform for decision makers to exchange views and to sign deals and to speak in detail about how to face the global economic challenges in specific. How do you see the importance of such gatherings, sir, particularly amid the global economic, not only challenges, but crises the whole world is facing?
Remember, you are not the only player in the market. There is a lot of countries compete with each other in order to attract foreign direct investment. So the more you give advantage, the more you give facility to investors, they will come to Egypt. With the resources, we have people and so on. All we need is really how to invest our materials, which we have it, and attract the technology which it needs this kind of materials. And that is whether in Saudi Arabia, whether in for example, in any other place, in
Saudi Arabia is only
and
the
so
place,
on.
but the gatherings there
Absolutely.
is going to find, when I read the number, 1,000 participants, this is huge.
Absolutely. And that is, you need, with the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa al-Madbouli, and his team, to speak the language of this 1,000 participative, whether it's come from Europe, from Asia, from any other country and so on. You have to speak the language of investor. How to attract investor, you have to have an investment map before you go, and that is our project, that's our priority.
An agenda
and that's what
with
we
priorities.
need, and that's the facility we are going to provide in order to really make their decision easy for them and so on.
Inshallah. Well, Dr. thank you much for your input, sir.
Time fly with you. I don't believe we spend an hour.
Thank you very much, and we're going to leave you with a promise to see you in more episodes of Money News Business.
Keep hope alive, and Egypt, it will be in a very nice and safe place in the future.
Inshallah.
But we have to work hard.
And we are working hard. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode. Now I'm going to leave you with the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again same time on Mal TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.